Hey friends, Carmel Holt here. As you know, times are tough for public radio and audio. And as a tiny independent feminist production company that makes SHEROES for public radio and for this podcast, we're getting hit pretty hard with financial shortfalls. Simultaneously, this is a moment where women, trans folks, non-binary, and queer folks need a safe space to be heard. And at SHEROES, we're more committed than ever before to our mission of turning up the volume of underrepresented voices in music. But to keep going, I need your help. And I have big news. SHEROES has partnered with the nonprofit AIR, the Association of Independents in Radio, and we've launched our very first fundraising campaign. You can text SHEROES to 53555 to make a tax-deductible donation through AIR or visit SHEROESradio.com. Thank you for supporting independent, femme and queer-produced audio and storytelling like the episode that you're about to enjoy. It's up to us whose voices get heard, and with your help, we'll keep turning up the volume.
When I'm in rooms with like women, queer people, it's just like boom, boom, boom. Let's get like into it. We're getting emotional. We're getting to the root of it all. I think even like tracking vocals is a little more of a sensitive subject for people, a sensitive situation. And I've had women come in here, even at my home studio, and they're like, I've never tracked vocals like this. I feel so comfortable. You're like not mean to me. And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Mean? I'm literally just hyping you up and I'm giving you some constructive criticism, but I'm not being mean. And that's how it should be. Like, I don't have an education when it comes to engineering and production. Self-taught, friends, internet, YouTube. That's where I come from. I didn't go to school, but I've met a lot of people that are like, this is just how it is. This is how the studio is and the vibes are with the guys in the studio. That's just like, you gotta like work hard to get to that point. But I'm like, why? Why can't we make new rules? Why can't we be kind to each other in the studio?
Yeah.
Why can't we? Why? So I just feel like I'm always in a constant state of like, I don't know, confusion when I work with people because they just have so many experiences that like make them not want to be in the studio. And if I can change that just a little bit, then that's what matters.
That was Melina Duterte, a.k.a. Jay Som, and this is SHEROES, a weekly podcast that amplifies women, non-binary, and genderqueer voices in music across genres and generations. We believe that sharing our stories is the first step to making music better for everyone. I'm Carmel Holt. It's been 6 years since California-born singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, producer, and mixing engineer Melina Duterte put out an album of her own under her moniker Jay Som. But those years have hardly been quiet ones. Melina's resume quickly filled up with noteworthy album credits, collabs, and co-writes with artists like Troye Sivan and Biba Doobie, contributions to film and TV soundtracks like I Saw the TV Glow soundtrack, and she also earned a Grammy for her production work on the full-length debut album by Boy Genius, The Record, and then she joined them as their touring bassist. And if you peep the credits for Lucy Dacus's latest album, Forever Is a Feeling, you'll see Melina's name there too, as a producer and a session player. There's also a collaborative album with Elle Kempner of Palehound that came out back in 2021 under the name Bachelor. It was called Doom and Sun, and that was when we last caught up with Melina Duterte. I couldn't be more excited that she's back with a brand new Jay Som album this week. It's called Belong. And as we celebrate its arrival, I'm thrilled to welcome back Melina Duterte as this week's SHERO in the Spotlight. Melina Duterte, welcome back to SHEROES. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be back.
And on such a happy occasion for us Jay Som fans, I'm so happy that you're back with a new Jay Som record, dude.
Thank you so much. I'm really stoked too.
So we have a lot to catch up on because
Yes.
as we were saying, we haven't connected since 2021 when you were here with Elle Kempner with the Bachelor Project, which also I fucking loved. So 4 years since that and 6 years since Anako.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's get in.
Tell us what the last, half a dozen years or so has been like for you. You've been so busy.
Yeah. I mean, I've been saying this a lot lately, but it's hard to perfectly encapsulate exactly what was going on. But there was a lot and a lot that I'm proud of. And I was still doing music full time. And I mostly got into production and engineering work, and I was working with Boy Genius, and I was mixing people just like kind of nonstop. I just wanted to keep getting better and better, and I kept getting the call and getting better gigs, and it's been surreal ever since. And I finished my new record this year, and yeah, it's been a whirlwind for sure.
Yeah. Well, I was getting ready to talk to you today and reading some of the press and this lovely interview that you did for Rolling Stone. And you talked in that conversation about kind of having imposter syndrome. And I was thinking about that like, yeah, I mean, when you switch into that other role where you're in the supporting role and you're acting as the guide, as this, set of ears that's going to produce an album or mix an album, and even being a touring bassist like you were with Boy Genius, like, what was that transition like? Like, can you expand on that feeling of imposter syndrome, which is hard to
Yeah.
imagine with you?
I mean, we all deal with it, right? Like even the greats.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was just hard to get right back into it. It didn't feel like riding a bike. I was kind of like, oh, what the hell is going on? I think I just didn't recognize my songwriting or exactly what my skills were leading up to this record. So there were many failed attempts at writing and recording. So the easiest solution was just collaborating with my friends. And I hadn't done that with like Anako and all of the other albums that I did. Like, yes, the one with Elle was very collaborative, but that was like a project separate to Jay Som. And so I think I just had to harness basically what I've learned from working with other people in production into my own stuff. And I was like, actually, yes, I do need someone to hit record for me. I do need someone to like get me out of my head and tell me that this thing sucks, or just like, don't trip out about this like really small detail about something, or just like, you sound good, dude. Like sometimes I just need to hear that, and then I can go crazy about other things. So the transition was a little hard, but also very needed for me to like understand myself. Yeah.
When did you realize that you were ready to leave the production chair for a minute and put new music out under Jay Som? Like, what was the motivating force there? Because you could have easily continued to cruise at altitude,
It was when my manager, Susan, gave me a deadline. So to be quite honest. Thank you, Susan. She basically, we started working together, and she's just so awesome, and was like, hey, you should try and shoot for this date. Mixes turned in this date, and mastering turned in this date. And I was like, you know what? This is great, because I had years of, people around me just being like, take your time. Like, you're good. It's when you want it to come out. That's what matters. But me personally, I need someone to tell me what to do, and then I'll do it. And that was the first time where, someone was like, hey, you should just do it here. And it like kind of rewired my brain and just kicked into high gear. And I work very well under pressure because I'm not thinking too hard.
So can you take us to the song that, if there was a song that started the process or got it flowing for you?
Yeah, I think that song was Float. That was one of the first songs that I wrote and recorded with people. I wrote it by myself, so that was definitely a challenge. And that was kind of like a dummy test song to see if I could still write songs and also feel like if I could do something fresh that I haven't done before. And I just really wanted to try an alternative rock song, which is kind of a funny choice, to be honest, like right now. I don't know. I love Blink-182. I love Jimmy Eat World. I was also listening to like Cloud Nothings, and it kind of jump-started the process of the record, where I remember thinking like, I just want to have fun in this album. I want to like go for it and see what happens. So from there on out, it was like, all right, let's just see what happens. Let's go for it. And that was kind of the principle for the record.
Did you know Jim Adkins from Jimmy Eat World? Okay, so was that like a cold call? Like, tell us that story.
Another Susan connect.
Okay. Shouts
out to Susan.
I think let's contextualize this also because I just feel like I really want to acknowledge the icon and legend that Susan Bush is as well. Like
icon and legend, truly.
Icon and legend in the music business. You want to tell our listeners about Susan just for a second?
She's legendary. She is a former A&R. She worked at Sub Pop. She worked at Domino, Loma Vista, management. She signed all of our favorite bands. She's, I think, responsible for the My Bloody Valentine comeback in 2013. Like, for me, that's crazy. You talk to anyone about her and it's like, Susan, she's a legend. And I'm like, yeah, that's my manager. Yeah.
No big. So she had Jim Adkins, obviously, like in her phone or something.
So serendipitously, she manages Courtney Marie Andrews, who's an incredible artist I love and respect. And she used to be in Jimmy Eat World. So, right?
I forgot that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
And so he was super nice. Immediately was like, I love the song. Would love to get in there and help. But he was kind of late. Not to call him out or anything. He was late for the turn-in of the mixing. So we did the record without him. I was kind of like, he's not going to send it. It's okay. Maybe in the future. And then super last minute right before mastering, I think. Or maybe the record was mastered already. He texted me and was like, hey, I'm about to head into the studio in a couple hours. I can record the vocals. Like, you want to talk about it? We talked on the phone, texted about gear, and he was super, super nice. I got to nerd out about Jimmy Eat World with him. Because I'm a huge fan. Bleed American was like a significant record for me and my brother when we were kids.
That's Float, featuring Jim Adkins of Jimmy Eat World. And we are here to celebrate the new Jay Som album, Belong. We have Melina Duterte here with us in the SHEROES Spotlight, and I'm Carmel Holt. I love thinking about you and your brother rocking out to Jimmy Eat World. I'm imagining it like as teenagers or maybe young teenagers.
I think I was 9.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 9 and he was 10. Like, we were kids. We went to Barnes & Noble because we didn't have a record store anywhere. We grew up in Brentwood, California, which is like east of Oakland and San Francisco, and small town, just farming, agriculture town. And it was easy to get lost in music and just go to Barnes & Noble and pick up all of the indie CDs.
I love that. Were you listening to, let me think, what radio station would you have been listening to then in the Bay Area? Was that like KFOG or something?
I think, yeah, KFOG. What is 104.1 The Hawk? Like rock. Like dude rock. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think there's like 94.9 as well. 105.3, I think, was also alternative rock.
Can we put this in a timeline? Like, what decade are we in? Or...
When did Bleed American come out? I think it was 2002 or 2003. So, okay, I was in like 3rd grade, 4th grade.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So, I guess this is now like post-grunge, post-Riot Girl. What was the imprinting that was happening for you as far as, I'm going to put this in air quotes, women in music? Like, did you have anything to model yourself after or aspire to? Or was it really super like dude rock?
It was super dude rock, but also it was also like Karen O from the Yeah Yeah Yes. And I also did love Bikini Kill as a kid. And, you know, watching those videos on YouTube like changed my life too.
Yeah.
But I think growing up watching Yeah 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 music videos on VH1 and MTV also changed my life. And, you know, even Avril Lavigne, like seeing that happen in the early 2000s was an amazing time and was really inspiring. Same with Liz Phair, like even during the Why Can't I album cycle, like that was really special and cool. And I did have people to look up to, but you know, of course, it's all saturated with guys like how it is now still. But yeah, definitely Karen O was up there for sure.
I want to get to the moment that you connected with another hero /Shero, Hayley Williams, for this record from Paramore. But before we leave your childhood, for those that don't know you, know your history, Melina, can you take us to like where your own musical growth began as a musician. Like, I think you started like playing trumpet, maybe? Am I remembering that right?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
you
all
remember.
right.
Good memory. Yeah,
I
I
don't know. It
mean,
was like random. It stuck out to me because I always think of you as
just
a
like
bassist or a
bassist, yeah.
guitarist. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My roots were in trumpet, but before that, speaking of yes, when I would watch all those music videos, I expressed interest in guitar to my parents. And I was like 8 years old. My mom bought
Uh-huh.
me this really terrible acoustic nylon guitar. And I love that guitar. I still have it. I think it's still in my house here in LA. But I got to learn all of my favorite pop punk songs. Like I used to print out ultimateguitar.com tabs, like Blink 182 and Green Day tabs, and just like learn that way because they were really easy. And then
Yeah.
when I was 10 at school, I chose a trumpet, even though everyone kept saying you can't play the trumpet because you're a girl. You need to play the flute or the clarinet, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I want to be like a boy. I want to play the trumpet. And I honestly was pretty good. And I did that for a long time. I was like first chair and did sectionals, and I went to like band camp, and I would gig at like jazz improv clubs with friends in high school and do a lot of honor band things. And I thought that I was going to go to music school for trumpet. Thank God I didn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't do that. I decided to go to community college for music. I was also in bands with people. So that's where it started, kind of like
Yes.
the indie music scene, and like, Bandcamp and SoundCloud was around. So I started to upload music just randomly, and everything kind of took off in a very natural, very organic way. Just like people all over the world were just listening to my random tracks on Bandcamp. And eventually my label now, Polyvinyl, signed me in 2015. And it's just been like amazing since. Yeah.
What a dream. What a dream. And like, by
Yeah.
the way, happy 10th anniversary to turn into. Like,
Oh my God.
that
Yeah.
that happened 10 years ago, dude.
Yeah. That was
That's
Thanksgiving 2015. So it's coming up. Yeah.
Yep. That's so like sweet. When you think back on that version of yourself, what comes up for you?
Oh, I see. She loved to drink, so the person that uploaded those songs for Turn Into onto Bandcamp was drunk, and I think of a very just young child that was wide-eyed, had no idea what the hell was going on, but I also look back and I'm like, "Aw, you're so sweet. Like, you're so positive about things, and you love music, and you still love it." No. So
Hey, is it weird if we just like drop a little clip of what that sounds like? The decade ago you in here? Is there a song that you still like love from that? Or like
oh
when
my
was even the
god,
last time
yes.
you heard it?
I feel like I heard one recently. That's not weird, by
Yeah.
the way. I'm cool with that.
Okay.
There's one called, this is embarrassing, but I'm willing to show people. It's called Finding What You're Looking For in the Closet. And I actually think that came out in 2013 when I was 18 or 19.
Whoa.
And I have like a British accent in it fully. So that didn't make it onto Turn Into, but it's on the internet.
You've been singing out of tune. Eyes are buzzing and bleeding. Our sad eyes too.
We have Melina Duterte here with us on SHEROES. The new Jay Som album is called Belong. So we are taking a little trip down memory lane and hearing your musical history and talking about how this record, it's kind of funny and kind of sweet now that we're putting it in that frame. Like you have a hero and a shero here with you on the record as a
Yeah.
collaborator. Okay, let's like do the Haley Williams moment.
Of course.
How did that happen?
I love Haley. She is an awesome, amazing, kind person. So Paramore took me out on tour in 2018 for the After Laughter summer tour. Soccer Mommy did the first half, and then we did the second half, and that was so cool. I just remember feeling so nervous every single night, but Haley was so
Yeah.
nice. She was, I think, the first person we met. Like, when we came out of the van, she was like, "Hey, I'm Haley," and I was like, "I know." Uh, and yeah, they'd like all watch our set sometimes, and we're just super just open about how much they like the music. And she'd always be like, "Yeah, I listen to this song when I'm in the shower. It's like my shower song." And after that tour, we kept in touch. She would text me for basically for years, just like checking in about the album. She'd be like, "Hey, how's your record coming along? Do you need some harmonies? I'd love to sing on anything you have." Would just offer
Wow.
vocals essentially. And sometimes I'd receive those texts and I'd be like, sure." Didn't have a plan and or anything like that because I'm super shy when it comes to, I don't know, rock stars or celebrities in general. And being friends with some of them is like, I just like want to be respectful. So sometimes it's hard for me to like ask for things from them. But Haley eventually introduced me to Steph Margiano, who's a London-based producer, and was like, "Hey, you guys should like meet up. She's really cool. She wants to work with you." Steph and I became fast friends and collaborators. We wrote like 6 songs
Wow.
and yeah, 2 or 3 of them made it onto the record. Steph has a lot of output on the record and a lot of her choices made it. And she was the one back in March 2024 that said, "Hey, we should just go to Nashville and see if Haley's there. And we should just like book 3 days at the free Spotify studio and just like ask her to sing." And I was like, "Okay, sure." Because Steph and Haley have worked together a bunch, like on the Pedals for Armor record. And Steph has been like to Nashville back and forth. And she was like, "We just gotta like catch her and see if she's around and not doing any Paramore stuff." And we were there for a night or 2 first. And I wanted to rewrite the song, just like rewrote everything, wrote it with my friend Mal and Steph in Nashville. And we just like reworked it and sent the demo to Haley that night. And she was like, "Hell yeah, let's do this. I'm coming in tomorrow." She stayed for hours, just tracking and being super sweet, super kind, and had all these ideas that we kept, by the way. Every single vocal track is like in the song. And we were just catching up about life. And she was like pouring us her like green tea and just being an overall awesome person like she always is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anything you want to tell us about the song itself, like lyrically, before we go into it?
Yeah. It was a fun song to make. I feel like a very spiritual person. And I think music is very faith-based. And I'm always thinking about my own like past lives and how it's affected my present life now. And I think about other people's, I don't know, like karmic journey. I hope that's not too woo-woo to say, but like I genuinely
Never.
believe in that stuff. Yeah.
Never.
It's
Come
all-
on. This is like a femme and queer show. So.
I was gonna say I knew coming into this that I could talk about some spiritual shit.
Yes.
Yeah, so it felt really easy with Mal and Steph, just like to talk about that kind of stuff. It's easier with queer people to write
Yeah.
and really get into that. So it's kind of just a general song about believing in reincarnation and how we deal with it in our present lives, and it affects kind of the decisions and choices and the people we meet throughout our journey of living.
That's Past Lives featuring Haley Williams from the new Jay Som album, Belong, the third under that moniker for Melina Duterte, our guest today on SHEROES. I should actually really call it your fourth. Technically, it's your fourth.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we shouldn't like disregard the album we just celebrated as having a 10th anniversary this year.
True.
Let's give that a place of honor,
I
too.
agree, but then I've been told that it's the third.
It doesn't count. It's got to count.
I think because Everybody Works was considered the debut record in 2017,
Right.
or maybe it was easier to market it that way. So
Right.
I don't make the rules about that kind of stuff.
We're going to make the rules today right here, okay?
Thank you, Carmel.
You're welcome. I'm so glad that we talked about, or you talked about, Steph, because I feel like this is a good segue to talk about production and the production side of what you do,
Yeah.
and shining on femme and queer producers and engineers.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much this comes up here on this show. Why
Of
is this
course.
so fucking hard to change?
What's the percentage? Like 5% of us
I
in
think it's
engineering?
5 now, and we're, like, celebrating that we, like, went up a couple of
Yeah,
points.
I
It
was gonna
was
say, what
2
did it
for,
go
like yeah.
from 1 to 5?
Yeah, something like that. I think 2 to 5, like, what I don't know, but ball's in your court. I mean, let's talk freely about this if you don't mind. First of
Always.
all, like your experience dipping your toes and not even dipping your toes, like being fully immersed in that world, like you taught yourself how to engineer.
Yeah. I mean, even just the professional side of it all just happened a couple years ago. Like
Yeah.
working with labels and working with more indie artists and acquaintances and strangers that I've never met before, reaching out from different parts of the world in different states. So that's been super validating. But as I'm working in more studios with people and even outside studios, I'm like, oh my God, where are the queers? Where are the women? Where are the trans non-binary people? What's going on? I know they're out there and I shouldn't, dumb that down. Like there's, like different first studio in SF that's queer owned. And so many friends like Sarah Tudson from Illuminati Hotties. She's like a huge inspiration to me and so many other people. That's a girly doing production and engineering work and killing it. And
Yeah.
I would love to see more of that now.
Yes.
Yeah. I really think that more than ever, I want to see that.
Let's talk about why that's important. Because I think we talk a lot about how much we want to see it, but we don't really dive deep into the why,
Mhm.
if it's even something that you can articulate.
It's an energy thing. I think even like writing sessions when I've done them with cis men, not to call out my boys, like I'm not saying all men. I think sometimes to get to the root of songs or just even talking about something really deep can be a little hard, but when I'm in rooms with like women, queer people, it's just like boom, boom, boom. Let's get like into it. We're getting emotional. We're getting to the root of it all. I think even like tracking vocals is a little more of a sensitive subject for people, a sensitive situation. And I've had women come in here, even at my home studio, and they're like, I've never tracked vocals like this. I feel so comfortable. You're like not mean to me. And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Mean? I'm literally just hyping you up and I'm giving you some constructive criticism, but I'm not being mean. And that's how it should be. Little
Mm.
things like that where I think in recording and production, like I don't have an education when it comes to engineering and production. Self-taught, friends, internet, YouTube. That's where I come from. I didn't go to school with teachers that could teach me all these things, but I've met a lot of people that are like, this is just how it is. This is how the studio is and the vibes are with the guys in the studio. That's just like, you got to like work hard to get to that point. But I'm like, why? Why can't we make new rules? Why can't we be kind to each other in the
Yeah.
studio? Why
Yeah.
can't we? Why? So I just feel like I'm always in a constant state of like, I don't know, confusion. And when I work with people, because they just have so many experiences that like make them not want to be in the studio. And if I
Yes.
can change that just a little bit, then that's what matters.
I think that that's honestly, it's not the whole, but it's a piece of why this show is named what it is, because people don't realize what it takes to actually, like, as a person who is in a non-male body and identity, to go from their bedroom writing songs for themselves to actually putting it out in the world, and in whatever form that takes. It's like, I mean, it's beautiful and so fun and amazing too, right? But
Yeah.
like, there are so many very persistent and distressing things that we still haven't overcome,
Yeah.
patriarchy.
Persistent.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but also being solution oriented about it. Any ideas there? I mean, have you even like brainstormed with fellow musicians and producers and engineers
Yeah.
to say, like, how could we make this better?
I'm going to be honest, it's up to the guys. That's how I always feel. I mean, for example, like Kyle Pulley, who runs Headroom Studios that I recorded at in Philly, he employs and has interns that are women and non-binary trans people. So many queers. Like I go in and I'm like, oh my God, what an amazing environment. Like this is so cool. This is like different. And I'm like, oh, it's because the owner, the manager here is just doing it. And that's all it takes. I feel like maybe there is a sense of, I think maybe people think there's not that many people out there that want to do this. There's not a lot of queer people. I think it's just more like some of us are scared and we don't see it. There's no examples until people start to include people into their own community. That's when it could start. I really think that's what it is.
Yeah. Well said. Well, since you brought up Kyle, we can circle back to Belong and the fact that you brought in an outside producer, and it was Kyle, to help you complete this process. You want to talk to us a little bit about that choice and what that experience was? I mean, you sort of were speaking to it now, what that experience was like?
Yeah, it was awesome. Kyle was one of the last producers to work on it. So Steph Margiano was first. And then eventually my friend Mal, who I've been friends with for years, helped a lot with co-production and guitar work. And then Joao Gonzalez, who has been my friend forever. This was the first time we worked together. He helped with co-production and mixing and everything and was with me every single day. He was like kind of a clone of me, which was incredible. And then Kyle was the last minute producer that I visited back in, was it February or March of this year? Yeah, I had a week there because I was looking for basically someone to help me with the alternative rock tracking of the record. We did Float and like Past Lives there. And also he has been a huge fan of mine for a while. Like he reached out to me like years ago just saying like, hey, I have the studio. I'd love to work with you eventually one day. And I think we got together in LA just for a little session, and he just immediately helped me with stuff and found solutions for some problems I was having in a song. I think it was Cards on the Table, and he just completely changed that song for me. And I was like, cool, it's like almost done now. Let's work on some other stuff. So when I click like that with someone, I'm like, all right, let's go. And he was one of those.
Amazing. Is that a song that you're interested in playing today? Or I wanted to get to another song, and that feels like a natural segue in. It's also the opener to the album, and I always love talking about sequencing, especially somebody like you. I get super nerdy about it. Like, so can you both tell us about this song lyrically, but also why you chose it as the opening track?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of my favorite songs on the record because I call it my frou-frou song.
Love the Imogen Heap shout out, man.
I mean, love her always. She's the GOAT.
Goddess.
Goddess. Seriously. Amazing. Another amazing producer, engineer.
Yeah. So underrated. Why?
I know. I feel like the appreciation for her is coming back tenfold.
Yes.
But basically for the sequencing, it's unfortunately the opposite of a nerdy story. This was the fastest sequencing I've ever done. Joao and I were just kind of like, hey, should we figure out sequencing? And I remember saying, you know what album I really love and like the flow of it is In Rainbows by Radiohead. And we were like, wait, this like lines up. And I was like, wait, okay, we can do this. And Joao was like, wait, Cards on the Table first. Like, I think 15 Steps is the first song on that Radiohead record. And just so happened to match the flow of it all, and we did it in 5 minutes. It was the first choice of the sequence.
Anything you want to tell us about the lyrics to this song, or should we just go into it?
Oh, lyrics for the song. It's kind of a song about beefing with your friends, but ultimately pointing the finger back at yourself. I think it's really, really, really hard to maintain platonic relationships that can also delve into the working relationship side. And, you know, sometimes we have to learn our lessons when it comes to toxic friendships and what exactly we need to give ourselves. I don't know. Basically, like self-preservation in friendships and learning when to let go and when to keep this person as a friend or when to just like end the cycle.
That's the lead track to the new Jay Som album, Belong, fourth album for Melina Duterte. I'm Carmel Holt, and we got into the song because we were talking about working with Kyle Pulley as the last producer to put his fingerprints on this record. And you said that this was, the first song that you worked on together, and that was the gateway that opened up, and that it completely changed working with him. I forgot to ask you, like, what did he do that made it change? Like, what was different?
He changed the rhythm of the bass.
Okay.
I remember thinking, yeah, I want it to be dance here, but like I don't know what's going on. And I think the sub bass at the time was just like, and he showed me this like side chaining trick with the MIDI guitars that I tracked and made the bass go dun 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 dun. And it completely opened up the song and gave it space.
Wow.
And it was exactly what I was looking for. And that's all he did.
Isn't that crazy? It's like alchemy. I mean, there is something about really being in the process by yourself, but man, that kind of magic of locking in with somebody who is of like mind, but is able to see different horizons than you, like that's so amazing, right?
It's really, really special. And that's why I love production. That's why I work with so many people. It's the magical part of it all. Yeah.
So I wanted to, if you don't mind, to talk a little bit about, we were saying before about how the show is called SHEROES because it does take a sheroic effort in a lot of ways for us to do our jobs in music. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind sharing with us some of the things that you've had to overcome as being a femme and queer artist and producer and engineer, and maybe they're very different animals, maybe they're the same.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to bring it back to the album title, like Belong, that pretty much describes what I've had to overcome for these 6 years. I think my sense of belonging has kind of tapped into the red meters lately and just in general. And they always have, but I think as I've kind of dipped my toes into different jobs with people and also have come back full swing with Jay Som, I'm like, oh my God, who am I? What is my sense of identity? What do I represent? Do I want to fit in with this group of people? Do I want to belong here? Do I even think I want to do that? Like, why do I care so much about that? There's so much competition in music as well. And I feel that when I'm in rooms sometimes, even in conversations with my peers, and not saying that I feel competitive, but just more like it's kind of like a intense job to have. And I feel like I still deal with that, especially now before the record's coming out. I feel pretty insecure about where I belong in anything. And I think to go back to your question about imposter syndrome, like, I don't know if I deserve this. I actually don't know if people like working with me. I know I keep getting the call, but sometimes there's that little, there's a voice in my head that's like, you're not shit. You suck. Yeah, it's kind of hard to move those thoughts into a different compartment in my brain.
I was reflecting on your journey and your path, especially in these last, 6 years. And I don't know, the hierarchy of even in indie rock, weirdly, like you'd think that would be like a much
You'd be
more,
surprised.
Yeah.
It's like high school.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And like, I could see where being in that orbit of Boy Genius and, and Lucy and and Phoebe especially, like just this kind of indie rock royalty. And I'm like, okay, so the last time you did this press cycle, it was prior to all this. And now you're on the other side of that. with all of that experience and being like a part of that band and touring and doing all of that big stuff. How is that? Like, I don't know. Like, I could see where the assumption might be like, you're on fucking cloud nine. You're amazing. Like, look
Yeah.
what you just did, which you probably are. But also, like, is that a pressure that now you're living up to or something? I don't know.
No, unfortunately, there's no pressure from that. It's everything from Boy Genius was like my dream come true. Like genuinely.
Yay.
And
Love it.
I think also it was easier to separate that from my own stuff or even what I see in indie rock because I don't know, I feel like the gap for indie is so large now. Like
Yeah.
smaller artists are even smaller now and are fighting so hard to get anything. Like the middle artists that would get coverage, I don't see them anymore. So now it's like uber famous people that get the press.
Yes.
And then, you know, sometimes they take a chance on smaller artists. So it doesn't feel the same anymore, I will say.
Yeah.
But for Boy Genius, it was easier because they were like the hot band of the year. And I was like, you know, if my brain switched and I was like, it's all Boy Genius this year. And I had my own tech and everyone was really sweet and understood the assignment. And it was a really short tour. So there was never like this, oh man, I'm going to do this forever. But I think the sheer fact that it was so fleeting makes me look back in fondness at the memory. And I've picked up so much from Lucy, Phoebe, and Julian and how they work together as friends and communicate and, you know, the way they treat their team. And it was just really inspiring for sure. And I will say it is funny to go from condo tour buses to back to the van, but that's how it is. That's how it is.
That's how
and
it
I was
is.
fully aware of that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's kind of like your own, I don't know, like your own ego check or something, right? Like it's, you know, that's a hard one. It's a very egotistical business, you know, that we're
sure.
in. Yeah. How do you handle being perceived and visually perceived?
I hate
You
it.
talk about you hate it. Okay.
Oh, when it comes to picture. Oh, wait. Okay, visually perceived in what way?
Yeah, no, pictures, social media. Yeah, all of that.
I mean, this all relates to it too. It's just I know that everything has always been media based, especially if you are the product. You got to take press photos, you got to do all this. But what I've noticed now is that it's all the iPhone or just like phones. Everything is social media. There's like short form video content all the time. And I feel like I see less articles, perhaps. And that's my nightmare because I love to be private about the way that I look online. And that definitely trips me out. Yeah. Having to put something on or feel like, oh, I got to look hot for this thing or else I'm not going to get any streaming is it's a crazy, crazy thought to have.
I wonder if dudes go through this, like cis dudes, because I feel like they do. Okay.
I feel like they do. I'm sure they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
In their own weird way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I always make the assumption that it's like so particularly femme. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's harder for us because there's the, I just feel like there's the pressure of makeup and clothes and your literal body being skinny. And yeah, that can mess with your perception of yourself and how you present to the world.
Thank you for sharing all that. And thank you for illuminating why the album is called Belong. Did you know going in that it would mean that? Like thematically, did you know this? Or was it like afterwards you kind of took stock and thought, oh my God, that's what this is?
It was actually before I started making any of the demos or writing.
Wow.
Which is strange. I think it's because music for me is so intuition based. You know, it's all gut instincts. You know, do I like this or not? I have this really strong feeling. And I'd never had such a strong feeling about a word being the album title. It just kept coming up. It kept coming up. I remember having lunch at Joao's once and I told him like, yeah, I just like keep seeing and hearing belong, and I don't know exactly what it means. And, deep into this press cycle now, I'm like, I get why it kept coming up.
And it's also an invitation, I feel like.
Yeah.
That's how I heard it. I was like, wow, this really is like this multifaceted, I don't know, like has like a crystal kind of a vibe. Like, you can
Hmm.
look deep and see some of the little fractures or the iridescence. It means, you turn it one way and it means one thing, you turn another, it looks like
Yeah.
something
Oh,
else.
that's really sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. And even in sonically speaking,
Hmm.
I love the spectrum.
Thank you. Yeah, I never try to make the same song twice on a record.
Is there a song on this record that like you look at it and go, wow, I really stretched there, or that's an outlier, or
Oh, for sure. I think maybe the last song, "Want It All." I'm still super confused by that song. I think it's kind of a hilarious tracking process. I have a lot of funny videos from that one, but I also think there's a deeper meaning to it than I think, and, like, even adding a voice memo of my family singing karaoke at the very end of the song. That was my dad's 60th birthday, and everyone's, like, screaming over each other, and I remember thinking, "Yeah, yeah, that's my family, that's where I come from," and that entire song is kind of about the chaos that you feel when you're trying so hard to be something and you want every part of it, you will do anything to get there, and that means, like, sacrificing and compromising your sense of self, and, yeah, I think that song's just like a cautionary kinda song.
Want It All. I'm so glad that you brought up the ambient, like closer, happy birthday. I was like, was that to you? Was that to somebody else? Your dad's 60th birthday. You had a significant decade birthday recently, I think,
I
right?
did, yeah, last year. 30, I
Yeah.
turned
Well,
30, I'm 31 now.
okay. All right. You're grown.
Yeah.
How was that Saturn return for you?
I'm still in it, right? Like
Ish.
31.
I think you're probably on the other side of it.
I mean, it was hard as hell. I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't yeah, it was definitely hard, and COVID for
Yeah.
sure,
Yep.
pandemic.
Yep.
So that pretty much describes the Saturn return, and I do
Yeah.
feel like I'm coming off of something, and new beginnings. I've learned all of the lessons that my little brain can learn, and
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
ready to move on.
Hell yeah. Well, speaking of the future, you're gonna be doing a tour, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I'm so excited to see you live.
Yes, please come to
Um,
the New York show.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
I'm definitely. I
Would
think you're
love to see
playing
you there.
Warsaw in Brooklyn is what I
Yes,
wanna. Yeah,
Warsaw,
cool.
12 something. I don't know the dates. Forgot.
12/11.
Thank you
I'm
so
gonna sh
much.
12/11, it's already on my calendar.
Okay. See you there.
So, anything that you wanna tell us about thoughts of touring? Again,
Yeah.
with all of the experience now behind you, anything that you learned out on that tour that you might be doing different now based
Yeah.
on that?
I learned that I miss touring a lot, and I actually really love to play shows, and I love to figure out arrangements with people in the band, and it's something that I feel good at, and I find a lot of joy and purpose on tour, and I think
Yeah.
just having it's not like a grind mentality, but just, like, knowing, "Okay, I'm gonna have breakfast at this time, and lobby calls here, and then we're gonna go here and here, play the show, we're out here." There's something really fun about just, like, having everything laid out in front of
Yeah.
you, visiting friends in different cities, and I'm super excited to get back on the touring bus again and just, like, really get better at the live set, so
Can we talk about who is in your band and who is on your crew? Because
yeah,
we also talk about gender and identity on crews on this show,
yeah.
and I love to shine people that are making intentional choices in both ways.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, my friend Mal, who was a co-producer on the record, they did some shows in May, but couldn't work out some shows in
Ah, bummer.
for this tour. but they were my non-binary baddie in the band. Unfortunately, it's all guys this time around.
Okay.
But I am trying to look for a girliana or a non-binary baddie for a 5-piece eventually, like a bass player. But yeah, right now, Joao Gonzalez, who plays guitar, Carrie Clayton plays guitar, and then Eric Wallace plays drums. They're all amazing people, really cool band. And yeah, crew, there's no crew. It's just us and if there's a tour manager.
Whoa.
So very small, very small. And then looking for a front of house eventually.
So is it important to you to crew up with femme, non-binary, and queer folks on your crew? Because I hear that a lot too, especially to avoid the cranky sound dudes in venues.
100%.
Yeah.
In 2019, my beautiful friend and front of house and tour manager, Kessia Gordon, who now does sound or maybe it's tour production for Faye Webster and Japanese Breakfast. So they they're up there now. They changed my life too when I had them for a headlining tour in 2019. I was like, oh, this is what it feels like to work with non-men. So if you feel seen and you feel heard, you can actually communicate in a way that feels professional and mature and emotionally available because touring is very emotional. And I think it's nice to have those people on your court, a reflection of you, and in that tour in 2019, I had, Kes and my friend Maxine, and it was me. And that made a huge difference. Just even having one other person that is a woman or a non-binary person is just like really essential. And I recommend it for sure.
We'll work on that. We'll try to manifest that for you.
Yeah.
Speaking of manifesting, Melina, it's been so awesome to have you here. And we're going to close with a witchy exercise. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So I'm going to hand you the SHEROES magic wand through the screen.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Now you hold the power to change anything in music for women, non-binary, queer, and BIPOC folks. First wave of the wand.
First wave.
First thought, best thought. Like, what would you change? Just off the top of your head.
As much as I want to change the discrimination of it all, like I said before, I want to change the percentage. Just like automatically make it like 75, 85% us. And that, I think it's just the numbers need to change and the volume. And that's just what would change everything. Is just the bodies and the exposure, the examples to basically build and go from there. Because we're running on fumes for like this kind of world.
May it be so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Melina Duterte, thank you for being with us on SHEROES. Congratulations on Belong, this amazing new Jay Som album. How should we go out today? What track should we go out with?
Let's do DH because that's the rocker.
With thanks once again to Melina Duterte. Thank you for being with us on SHEROES. Come back
soon. Thank you, Carmel. Definitely. Let's do this every year.
Many thanks to Melina Duterte for being with us. The brand new Jay Som album, Belong, is available now on Polyvinyl Records. SHEROES is produced by me, is mixed and mastered by Kelly Drake. Our original theme music is by Lucius. Our podcast is distributed by Talkhouse. SHEROES is also a nationally syndicated radio show. Please visit SHEROESradio.com to find out more. Keep in touch on Instagram at SHEROES Radio, and please consider leaving us a rating and review wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also subscribe to our new YouTube channel, SHEROES Productions. SHEROES is 100% independent and is made possible through the support of our public radio affiliates and now listeners like you. Through a new partnership with the nonprofit AIR, the Association of Independents in Radio, we've launched our very first fundraising campaign. Text SHEROES to 53555. That's SHEROES to 53555 to make a tax-deductible donation through AIR or visit SHEROESradio.com. Thank you for supporting independent, femme, and queer-produced audio and storytelling. And until next time, remember, music is our superpower. I'm Carmel Holt. Thanks for listening. Also from SHEROES Productions, take a journey on the road to Joni, an Ambie Award-nominated 10-episode series celebrating the legacy and impact of Joni Mitchell. Distributed by Talkhouse. Subscribe now to The Road to Joni wherever you get your podcasts.